Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm presenting a subject that I'm literally obsessed with, and I'm talking psychoacoustics. Introduce the idea that perceived loudness is not always tied with RMS or peak levels. Have you ever experienced that two kicks on the same meter, they feel completely different one from the other? Each one's energy and impact depend on their transient shaping. So here is the psychoacoustic insight. Human ears respond strongly to fast, sharp attacks and upper mid-range content. These elements contribute to the feeling of presence, more than just gain. By shaping the transient, you are essentially triggering the brain's perception of impact and clarity. So let's get into the project and experiment with the illusion of loudness. So we are in the project. This is a track that I've been collaborating with my good friend Frantic, and it's unreleased, it's unmixed, but it's perfect for our today experiment. And check this first out. So we got a piano track and we got a vocal, an amazing vocal from my, again, good friend Chris Burke from Nashville, amazing vocalist. And what we can do psychoacoustically to make the vocal sound in your face is this. You got your track with the recording, which is this. You can do whatever you want, you know, your EQs, your reverbs, your delays, whatsoever. But if you want to make it sound like it's in your face, what you have to do is duplicate the track. Okay, so an exact copy of itself below, as I got here, all right? And you're going to compress the hell out of it. When I say compress, I mean like literally don't even have the time to breathe whatsoever. So if you want to check my super compressed track, which is here, and for this experiment I'm using a FET compressor. I'm using the classic 1176 from Universal Audio, and what I've done here is that I'm pushing it a lot to the point that it's always compressing. It sounds like this.
Crazy, I don't understand how it became so physical.
Fast attack, fast release. The transients are literally squashed, okay? But check how you can make the vocal sound in your face. And the way you do it is that you take this track to 0, okay? You take this track to 0, the second one. You play the song, and until you hear it almost like the reverbs and all the effects section is popping, you leave it there. So what we're gonna do is gonna solo the vocal.
Crazy, I don't understand.
And we're gonna start raising the volume.
I don't ever wanna leave, but maybe hoping's just naive. But it's a crazy feeling when you're walking to me that I can't believe. I'm holding out my hand, waiting on a miracle.
So look what happens now. I am going to have it mute, play the track, and then insert and check how the vocal pops in your face.
Crazy, I don't understand how it became so physical. Crazy, I don't understand how it became so physical.
cool is that? I mean, without EQing, without nothing, purely by transient shaping, you have the illusion that the vocal sounds higher in frequency and it's in your face. And that is happening just with a compressor. So use that tip whenever you want to pronounce something like a vocal. It works great in vocals. So you have your vocal and you do that. You insert the compressor in the same copy of the track above. You make sure you don't have any effects whatsoever. All right. And then you squash it, literally squash it. And it's going to sound amazing like that.
Crazy, I don't understand how it became so physical.
So good.
I don't ever wanna leave, but maybe hoping's just naive.
I hope you get it. Let's go now to the second example of today's video, and it has to do with transient shaping on kicks. Check this out. Okay, for this example, I got a transient shaper, a transient designer by Analog Obsession. It's a free plugin that you can find from Analog Obsession's site. And I want to show you what I mean by the concept of psychoacoustics and what it means and how you feel it and how you perceive loudness. For this example, I have screwed the initial kick just to show you this. I'm gonna play the kick and look at the picks that we get here. We get a -12 full scale pick, all right? If I disable it, look, we still get -12, but this kick sounds louder. But the number is exactly the same. How is that possible? I'm gonna enable again the transient designer. Check. -12. Same. Disengage it. -12. But it sounds louder. How it's possible? Well, this is exactly what I was talking before. It's the human ear that it's designed in that way that you perceive louder, sharp noises, sharp sounds, sharp audio material, okay? Which is fast, it has a fast transient, and it's quick and it's mid-rangey. So, with having that in mind, make sure that when you are creating your sounds, that be especially when it comes to drums, it doesn't necessarily have to be loud. You can make a kick sounding a little bit more edgy towards the mid-range, or it doesn't have to be sustained. If you make it more sustained than enough, then it's gonna sound like it's floating within the frequencies. So make sure it's tight. And you don't necessarily have to do this always with compressors. Yes, compressors for sure it will help. But if you have like a transient shaper tool like this I'm having here, you can easily do this work and have great results. For the next example, we're going to use panning. Panning is one of the easiest techniques you can do, and it's the most easy psychoacoustic thing that you can implement within your mixes. And I'm very disappointed that I see producers not panning their stuff left and right. It's like having one eye. It's like listening to mono, and this is not the case. You know, you got an 180 degrees that you can spread all over your stuff, and especially when it comes for percussion, keep things like really straight and forward. Kick, bass, snare, mono, and dead center. From then on, you can do whatever you like. You can spread them as much as you want. For example, we are going to solo this drum set. Alright, and check how it sounds when in mono. You are like this. And what is going to happen if I start panning my hi-hats? Okay. see? Boom! You got an image right now. And how it sounds when you have it all dead center. Boom. And back. Boom. So the easiest trick, the easiest psychoacoustic trick that you can do for your mixes, start panning. For our next trick, we're gonna do this. Usually when we do dance music, our basses are quite subby, they are quite low in the frequency area. So we want to hear it on our phones, and it's quite impossible because also the speakerphone has a specific range that it produces sound. One of the things that you can do psychoacoustically in order to make your basses sound in any sort of system is saturate them. For this example, I got my bass here. And I have imported a saturator, all right? There are plenty of saturation tools that you can work with. This is one of from a company that I really like. It's from Softtube, and you have to be subtle in order for this to work. Otherwise, you can distort. If this is what you're after, go for it. But for me, I want to saturate a little bit, a touch, so some of the frequencies are getting out in a speakerphone, for example. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start working with a knob. Oh, it's already cooking. Here it's cooking. Around 2 it starts baking. I don't want that, so I'm gonna push back a little bit. About 1.5 dB sounds good. If I bypass it, check this out. Okay. And what are my differences? So I'm almost minus 13 with the plugin. If I remove it, I'm like minus 16. So I've got like 3.5 dBs with the saturation. And I didn't touch the EQ. But this makes the bass fatter, alright, and starts popping out. But if I want to gain stage it, so this plays 2 at minus 16, and let's do it for the sake of the experiments. This is minus 16 without the plugin. Let's gain stage it. So that plays minus 16 as well. Check what happens. This is with the saturation. Without. I'll let you decide, but I know exactly what's my go-to. I don't have to mention that you have to either listen to a really good set of monitors or wear headphones. Yeah. Without the saturation, with sounds a tiny louder. I gain stage the plugin, all right? So I got the same peaks. And when it comes with the saturation on, it sounds a little bit more louder. And this is purely psychoacoustics, right? If I'm gonna push it harder, just for the experiment, look. Now it's really gnarly. But this is without. You know, if you're after a sound like this, I'm not, but I'm telling you, if you're after, definitely it's gonna work out. And for our last example, I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with the same transient designer in a clap. So this is our clap. Okay, and it's picking around -12, -11.5. When I insert the transient shaper, check what happens. It's so snappy because I shaped it so it excites within that range that my ears are made to grab those instant, fast sounds. And without doing anything special, I just gain stage the plugin. I think that this sound is more compressed whatsoever, but I actually didn't do anything. I just pronounced the transients, and that's it. Check again. Without. Okay? And it's like having a super snappy compressor, but there's nothing. And that's purely because you design the first initial transients of a sound. And it works remarkably well. I love it. I love the whole concept of psychoacoustics. And you know, I'm a true sucker when it comes to this. This is also one of the reasons that you feel nice when the breakdown comes in and all the whooshes are there. It's because it's the differences within, you know, the frequency range, the loudness and everything, and when everything starts to build up and again then you got the drop, you feel great. That's Psychoacoustics one-on-one. That was it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this special episode about transients. I mean, we just scraped the top of the iceberg. There's so much stuff that we can talk about psychoacoustics and everything. And yes, for sure, we're gonna have another episode on this matter. Psychoacoustics is a huge chapter within the sound engineering. For now, I hope you enjoyed what I've showed you today. Let me know if you implement those tricks. I'd love to know on which instruments you are going to apply this. As always, make sure to subscribe, like, and until next time, keep it cool, keep it safe. See you.